Hi Pisces, welcome to your reading. Pisces, after 19 years, we have North Node in your house of home and family and South Node in your house of career. This is a big shift, and June is the first time when we'll start experiencing this shift in a potent fashion. North Node and South Node, wherever they are, they become our source of growth over the course of next 18 months. Fated changes come about in that axis of our existence to bring us closer to our destiny. And this is happening for you at a critical axis for the next 18 months. All the eclipses that will happen for the next 18 months will be happening in your house of career and your house of home and family, which means that some changes that would normally take many years to happen, they will start happening at an accelerated basis, on an accelerated basis in your house of career and home and family. And some of you might have already experienced, especially some new start possibly in your house of home and family. You might have experienced some new starts, some new shifts that are coming about, and you might have started working on them. But this first eclipse in 19 years with South Node in your house of career, which is happening on 5th or 6th of June, which will impact you all the way till March of 2021, is telling you a clear message, is giving you a clear message to shift direction when it comes to your career. There could be a project, an important deliverable, an important career decision that might be coming up, and that will help you determine how do you handle your career over the course of next decade. This will define your career path for a long duration, and those will come with some urgency, some sort of even angst, if I may say. Mars is in your house, is in your sign right now. Mars is the planet of courage. So you have a lot of energy, a lot of courage, a lot of guts to take bold decisions right now. And to some extent, you will be seeing very clearly what works and what does not work. What has outlived its purpose when it comes to your external persona, your career, your external life, and what stays. You might be looking at your home and family, and maybe there is something in your foundation that requires more of your time, and for that, a modification is required in your career. The next 18 months, we will have all eclipses happening in your house of career and your house of home and family, which means that fated shifts will come about, which will normally take many years to happen at an on an accelerated basis in your home and family as well as in your career. This is required to bring you closer to your destiny. This is required to release some of the things that have outlived their purpose. And this is happening at a time when your ruler Neptune, the planet of imagination, the planet of surreal love, is sitting in your sign. When Neptune is in our sign, we dissolve our old ways of being. Neptune has been in your sign since 2011 and it will stay there till 2025. You are on a long drawn journey to slowly but steadily dissolve an old way of being, and it is softening the very aura around you. It is softening how people look at you. It is even adding a little bit of glamour to your whole existence, because Neptune is higher octave of love. A person who has a Neptune transit happening exactly on their planet, they exude love. And right now Neptune is at around 21 degree, and why I'm talking about it right now is because it's standing still. It's about to go retrograde, which means that it will appear to move backward from the perspective of Earth, which means it will be retracing the steps. But just before a planet makes a U-turn, it becomes very strong. So Neptune right now, in its full strength, might be popping some bubbles. It might be showing you certain realities that we might have not been facing in the past. And as a part of that, there is something which might have outlived its purpose in your life that would need to be released. This eclipse, which is happening on 5th or 6th of June, is a eclipse of moksha. It's a eclipse of release, where the expansion happens by us releasing some old way of being. It could be an old career, it could be an old project, it could be an old way of handling our career, it could be an old way of handling our authority when it comes to both our professional life and our personal life. There might be some amount of travel changes, job related travel that needs to shift. It's possible that earlier your job required a lot of international coordination, a lot of network coordination, a lot of international exposure, multicultural exposure, and now you need to find new ways of doing that. It's possible that there was an important mentor who was guiding you through your career, and that has to now sort of come to a closure. That person has to leave or has to be released, or an authority figure at job has to be released, or an important influence that you had before that has to let go, because now you need to stand on your own. The next 1.5 years, Pisces, for us will be dedicated to creating a new foundation for us. And in order for you to create that new foundation, something in your career right now would be required to be released. When North Node is in our house of foundation, the gains happen from us catering to our own security. Our own personal foundations need to be strengthened. Our emotional grounding needs to be strengthened for us to function in the outer world in a more effective fashion. And why that happens? Why does a person prepare a nest? Why does a bird prepare a nest? Because there's something new that's about to come. Because there's more that nest needs to hold. So you will be sort of strengthening your nest, strengthening your home, strengthening your personal foundation, creating more support for your personal life. Because there is more that is about to come in your career. Your career is about to become more about giving to others in some ways. There would be more amount of selfless giving that might be required, or some sort of as I said, it could be some amount of glamour required in your in your professional life. It could be that for your job you need to be more in front of the clients, or you need to be more in front of camera, or you need to be more giving to some extent. There's a social element that has been added to your career, and in order to face all of that, in order to come up to mark of all of that, the personal foundations need to be strengthened. And it's also possible that some fated growth might have come in your personal life. It could be a new member of the family being added, or some fated changes that are happening in the life of your parents. There could be a change in the life of your parents, and we will continue to see changes which will continue to happen over the course of next 1.5 years in your personal life. The intention is to strengthen your personal life, release a pursuit of external recognition, and create an internal sort of strength within you which does not require any external affirmation, essentially. Which means that there is no need for you to prove yourself to anybody. There is no longer need to be right to some extent, or to put your knowledge or speech on display, because it is sort of a cycle in which you become so sure of yourself that there is no need for external parties to really give you any kind of affirmation. And not many would want to be in that position as well when they become an authority. So as you become more of an authority of your own life, as you gain more authority on truth of your own life, there is less external affirmation that we would require, and that will help us take certain leaps that are required in our public life. There will be a lot of more learnings that will come as parents. This is where parenting comes into focus, and parenting style comes to focus. How are we as parents? How are we as children of our parents even? So home and family connections will get strengthened, and they might happen through some fated shifts that are happening. Suddenly mother has to move in with you, suddenly you have to relocate, or there could be some sudden change in which you sort of have to take care of the family. You have to lead the family in some ways. So your source of growth, the source of emotional growth as well as material growth, will come through you catering to all of that. It will not be through holding tightly to external achievements. The more you'll try to hold on tighter to the external achievements, the more elusive they will feel over the course of next 18 months. And you'll feel that as a part of this eclipse. Some need to be seen, some need through achievement, and it doesn't mean that we will not achieve. In fact, when fated shifts happen, especially a full moon happen, something comes to fruition, something comes to conclusion, something comes to result. So it's possible that a reward or an achievement or a promotion or a next step or a growth step might be very visible to you right now. But it does not come without sacrifice. It comes with some amount of sacrifice. It's possible that you might need to sacrifice some amount of personal ego. You might need to sacrifice the old way of functioning in your career. You might need to sacrifice to some extent holding yourself to be the visible party as a part of that growth in career. It's possible that we need to shift our ways even to some extent. And there is a little bit of moksha attached to the career over here. Moksha in the sense that we have to have this spiritual detachment to some extent from the sense of achievement in career. The career has to serve some bigger purpose in life. It has to be part of a bigger plan. It has to be part of a bigger plan to make changes in society. It has to have a bigger plan of serving the underprivileged in some ways. So the job or career would have a higher purpose to some extent, will be attached with the need to make the world better in some ways, or influencing the world in a better way, or the career needs to have an element of glamour. Even as I said, I mean, it might require marketing. You might be more in front of public, but in the process of doing that, you're not doing it to make your ego stronger. It is not to flatter yourself, which as a sign you don't do. This is not part of your DNA even to do that. So naturally, Pisces does not perform their career to fan their ego, and that natural element of yours would be enhanced by this, and it will be the road to success over the course of next 18 months. The more you create a higher purpose related to your career, more you attach it to a social cause, more you attach it to doing good in general, like attaching some sort of environmental friendly, social and governance friendly rules, or flexibility in the career to make it more positive for the society in some ways. And your career will have a little bit of glamour, a little bit of magic, a little bit of creativity attached to it. And with North Node in your house of home and family, it's possible that the gains that will come, material gains that will come over the course of next 18 months, they will come from property in some ways. Property of your parents, property of your own family business, working from home, nurturing and caring for somebody, hotel industry, food industry, property industry, hospitality industry, something which has to do with residential or even commercial property to some extent. So you might be more involved with them. And what will happen is that right now you are going through a process of review in that. It's possible that you might be reviewing a property investment at this stage. You have Venus, the planet that rules finances, right now retrograde. That means that it is in a introspective in a retrospective stage in your house of career. In your house of home and family. So it is sitting in your house of home and family, and you might be reviewing an actual property. You might be reviewing investment into property. You might be reviewing how your relationship with your family is as well. You might be revisiting some childhood memories or past emotional foundations. Even issues with parents to some extent might be coming back up, and you might be desiring to create something beautiful and harmonious when it comes to your home, when it comes to your surrounding. You want to make your house and your family life more beautiful. You want to dedicate more time to them. And you might even have a flair for homemaking. You might discover that you love doing that. You love being a homemaker. You love being at home more, cooking more, interior decoration. You want to research about property. You might be renegotiating a lease right now, or a property might be getting, coming up for lease. It could be that you your the property from which you do business, that might be coming up for lease, and you might be renegotiating the lease of that, and that's how real estate comes into picture. And there could be a really good real estate investment, or some benefits that might come from renegotiation of a lease or a property document or a rental that might flow to you. And you might be very, very intently doing that right now. You'll be learning to voice what you truly want in a commercial situation when it comes to property, because Venus is all about self love. So it wants you to love so much on yourself that it does not really matter what the external people look at you. So there'll be a little bit of detachment from how we are looked at by others, what our title is looked at by others. Do we have a title that is world accepted or not? Am I in a kind of business that is world accepted or not? There's a release of that need to prove yourself to external people, release of need to be recognized by authorities, recognized by external parties, because you want to do what what your soul truly wants to do. There'll be more curiosity about your roots, about your heritage. You might be privately exploring what interests you. You're more concerned with your own personal process, your own learning, your own learning process. What am I getting out of this career? What am I getting out of this relationship? What am I getting out of this? How is my family benefiting from me doing this? And to some extent, you'll be enjoying it as well. This is where the growth comes from. We are excited about it. We are excited about getting our personal foundation strong. We are excited about real estate. There could be some false notions that you might have, and you might find that some of those bubbles are getting burst right now. Maybe you looked at yourself to be a different kind of person, and with Neptune right now retrograde, you might realize that that is not who you are. Maybe there are some lies we might have been telling ourselves, that this is the kind of person, this is what will make me happy, this is what will make me successful in the world definition, the social success which will make me happy. There's some falsity of our own making, our own, conditioning, which have been in existence from birth, or the way we were brought up, or the way our society in general is, right? These are the things we are taught, that this is what matters in the society. Having this kind of career, this kind of expansion, this kind of business shift is what matters overall. And it's a time of major decision, which at this stage you might be in the process of reconsideration of. It's not the time when you should decide things, because when planets are retrograde, we are yet to see the full picture. We don't know the full picture. So if you have a big investment in property coming up, or big career change that is coming up, you'll be like driven to it. You'll feel that I need to do it right now, because Mars is accelerating you. It is also giving you a lot of guts to speak up. It is giving you a lot of angst. It is giving you a lot of passion. It is a sort of, this is once in 2 years, Mars comes back in a sign, and we're like ready to go. We have the physical vitality. We have this whole verve going within ourselves. We want to take a risk. We want to be sort of take initiative. We are passionate about where we're going. We're stimulated by it. And as a process of that, we can do a few mistakes here, because when planets are retrograde, we have to be careful, because full information is not yet available to us. We'll feel that we know everything, and you'll see that in global events. A lot of dramatic, decisions are made, celebrations are made, decisions are decided, and things are sort of said, yeah, this is amazing, what's being shown. But the reality will be very far from what's being shown right now. When Neptune is strong, fog is strong. Neptune is alcohol. Neptune is fog. But Neptune shows us what we can only see when we are dreaming. So Neptune is about dreams. It's about idealism. It's about, selfless love. It's about compassion with others. It does not allow us to think in a practical fashion about material things. So you might be thinking that you know everything about this asset, or you know everything about this career, or everything that is to be known about the shift you are planning to take. But there will be things, details that we will be missing this month, which need to come up. And that is also highlighted by the fact that Mercury, the planet of business communication, will be retrograde between 18th of June to 12th of July, which means that with the speed that we are going right now, Mercury is right now at its highest speed. When Mercury is fast, fast decisions are made, fast conclusions are made. We talk fast, we write fast, we promise too much, beyond limitation we promise. And then when it goes retrograde, which it will from 18th of June to 12th of July, we walk back on some of that, because a lot of things are said and committed on the basis of emotions versus practical thinking. And for you especially, Mercury right now is in a very positive position. It is in your house of taking risk. So when Mars is in your sign and Mercury is saying, let's go, you are in the mode to sort of, go ahead and take some risk, which is excellent. See, Neptune has a positive side. It helps you come out of a stagnant position. It helps you, get go. It shows you what is possible for you beyond the current existence. It shows you a dream. It shows you a vision. It shows you a higher compassion for the rest of the people. But you have to realize that signing things could be very, very dicey under the influence of Neptune. So if there are legal conditions, legal documentation, details that you need to sign off, you want to be a little bit careful. And as long as we stick to the higher ideal of Neptune, we can create something really beautiful for others, that can be really healing for others, that can be compassionate for others, that could have a social element to it, that can be glamorous, that could be, sort of, this is a win-win situation that Neptune can create, because it lowers our boundaries, it lowers our ego, it chips away from the rough edges that we have with each other to some extent. It can bring people together in the ways that nothing else can do. But in this moment of softness, in this moment of wanting to make things happen, there is a clear clash that you can hear in my voice. The clash is wanting to make things happen fast and wanting to have an idealistic picture. So when these two things come together, it's a great time to put a blueprint down, to sort of dream beyond your current existence, to think about things that you really want to do, and to take certain bold steps in the sense of not hiding from a conflict anymore. There is a likelihood that you will rise up to the occasion here, because when Mars is on a sign, we don't shy away from a fight. So if there is a fight or a conflict or a where we are being taken advantage of and we know it, when Mars is in our sign, we speak up. And Venus in Gemini is teaching us to speak up. Speak up where things that are owed to you are not properly paid to you. So if somebody is not paying your dues to you when it comes to your career, your boss is not paying you enough, or you're not getting right remuneration from your client to some extent, or you find that the career that you are in is not giving you enough returns, it's the time when you'll voice it. And there is a conflict even in your family life in which you might speak up. We will have Sun and Neptune make a square with each other on 11th of June. That's a hard aspect where something related to home or family decision, there might be some confusion over that, and there might be need to see clearly where maybe you are being taken advantage of to some extent. Somebody might be taking your compassionate side to some extent for a ride, and you want to be a little bit careful of that. There is a need for boundary on that day. There is a need to set a little bit of limitation on how much would you give in the name of love. And as long as something is being given to you by others because you feel like giving it, then that's divine love, that is selfless love. But if somebody is taking from you without your permission, that is getting used. So you have to know that difference between the two and use your gut. Your intuition will be very strong in this on this day, even a couple of days before. And that if you feel diffused, if you feel your energy lowered by somebody. Like, you are in presence of somebody and you feel that they are deflating you. As a water sign who absorbs energies from their surroundings, you will know that that person or that transaction or that discussion with family member is not for you. But on a mundane level, on a day to day basis, that's a day when we can feel a little bit fragmented. And especially for you, it is an important aspect for you, especially if you have planets around 21 degree of Pisces, which is if you're a Pisces sun around, I believe, 11th of March born. So if you are 11th of March born, planets around 21 degree of Pisces, you want to be a little bit mindful on the specific day, on 11th of June, even on 13th of June, couple of days before. So mid of this month, you'll feel that there's a need for self-discipline and for boundaries here. There's possibility that a fight is required or a clear discussion is required to with a family member, or maybe a clear decision is required to be taken on a family matter, and you might be avoiding doing that. There might be inertia to some extent to decide, inertia because of fear of taking that action to some extent. And Neptune is going to slowly chip away that fear. It is going to take that away from you. Anything that is fake in your life, Neptune is going to dissolve that. So this is like having a higher hand of God in your life. If something has to leave your life, it is not for you. Neptune is highest form of divine love on you, and when Neptune is in your sign, you have that divine love in your life, and it does not need to come from a person. It's coming from a higher power. If you believe in God, you have faith in anybody, faith in your parents even to some extent, if you believe that they are the one who gave you life, and that's what you have faith in. You have to know that when Neptune is in our sign, we have the hand of that person on our head. And this month is going to feel that you need that. You will need that right now, because you might be taking certain bold decisions for which you might crave having that hand on your head. And this is the day when you need to go a little bit in your comfort zone, because there might be something that can feel deflating on this day. We might feel, if I may say, a little bit like a failure on this. There could be a guilt attached to it, a sense of failure, a sense of, if I may say, inferiority in some ways, which is completely unfounded, which will be unfounded which will not be found on real grounds. And there's a potential of failure that could sort of scare you on this day. Just remind yourself that success never happens without potential of failure. So if you have taken some chances in your life, there is always a 50% chance of failure, and that should not stop you from using your gifts. That should not stop you from using your creativity. That should not stop you from leveraging you being a channel. You are like a channel of creativity right now. Neptune in our sign makes us a positive channel for everybody else. You have a healing presence for others. So whatever you're doing in your career, in whichever ways you're doing it, in some or the other ways, you're making somebody's life better. And that itself has a worldly that itself has an achievement attached to it. It may not be the achievement that everybody else craves, but that is your achievement. It doesn't mean that things will not come your way. It doesn't mean that monies, assets will not come your way. In fact, right after this, we have two eclipses which are going to happen. Apart from this one, we have one eclipse happening on 21st of June in your house of luck, in your house of positive growth, in your house of creativity, in your house of confidence and faith in life. So this is a temporary blip that you might go through when we are sort of maybe ducking from a decision because we feel afraid, because there's a fear attached to it, fear of failure, and we might be attaching a lot of past to it. There could be a past feeling that gets attached to it. It's possible that you might feel demotivated because in the past something did not happen, or a psychological hindrance, the psychological block might be stopping you in the tracks at this time. But it's a great time, it's an excellent time to create something that is super, super creative. It is out of the world, it is artistic, it is music, it has music attached to it, it has your beautiful imagination attached to it, your beautiful mind attached to it. Neptune in the first house in your sign is height of creativity, it's height of beauty, physically and mentally. This is like being a magnet for positive creation for other people. So using that, have faith in your gifts, have faith in your talents, have faith in what you're here to create. You have all the energy this month to make it happen. Mars is in your sign, so you have the physical vitality to make any imagination, any creative idea come true. And what will happen is that, as I said, Neptune is a little bit foggy. You'll have to learn to walk on your path through the uncertainty that comes with it. You'll have to take a little bit of risk, and the eclipse, which will happen on 21st of June, it will give you that push. It will give you that confidence. It will give you that increase in risk appetite that you need to sort of move forward. In July, we have another eclipse happening in your house of network. It is possible that you might need to launch something, and for that, you need a lot of confidence, a lot of faith in your talents. And the 21st of June eclipse is happening in your house of creativity, children giving birth to something. It could be that you're preparing something ready to launch to a wider scale. So, from 21st of June, you might be working on that, and it might be very, very impactful. It might be very innovative, very unique, very different from what you have done before. It might be because it's happening on the day of summer solstice. This is like birthing something which is like a change in season, like a change in tone. It has never been done before. It is like a child is expressing or talking their first words. It has that feeling attached to it. It could be something new in the life of your children. There could be something that might be happening in the life of your children, something new coming up over there, or you might be giving birth to something that you're really passionate about, something creative related to your business, related to your standalone business, related to your creative talents, or you might be doing something that brings you more comfort and self-confidence. It's a very positive eclipse that's happening on 21st of June, and the impact of that will be immediate, and to some extent it will not be a surprise. It is something that might have been planned ahead of time. It's like a birth, right? Like birth of a child, planned it ahead. It's not like suddenly on the delivery date you come to know that you're delivering a kid. This is something you've worked on. You have created that over time, and but there might be some modifications in it, some reconsiderations in it which might be required. Because Mercury, the planet of communication, will go retrograde between 18th of June to 12th of July, as I mentioned, and it is going retrograde in your house of this creation that you're launching. So it's possible that a creative project or something in the life of your children or something related to love, related to personal life, related to passion that you have, something that you're giving birth to that requires a little bit more tweaking, more readjustment, some facet we might be missing that we need to add to it, some embellishment needs to be done, and that will happen between 18th of June to 12th of July, specifically between 18th of June to 30th of June. After 30th of June, you'll start working forward, because Mercury will be reborn. So in July, you'll be sort of by mid of July, you'll be ready to go. And 4th or 5th of July is coming with a lunar eclipse or completion. It could be a launch of something that you are doing to show to distribute at a wider scale, to distribute to your wider network, business network, or you might be doing something with your friends and that's coming to fruition. It could be related, it has to do with large set of people, with people who could be influential in nature, who could help you on a material basis, and you can have a lot of influence on a platform. Like if you are on one of the social networks, you can really launch something that is a big impact right now. This is especially true if you have planets around 24 degree of Pisces, which is around 14th of March born. So if you have planets around 24 degree of Pisces, or if you are born around 11th of March, you might be working on you'll feel almost driven to sort of make an impact at a social level, at a large level, at a network level, and you'll feel very ready for it. And it, the whole period between April to November of 2020, Jupiter and Pluto are sitting around those degrees, around 24 degree of your sign, which is around 14th of March born. It is sort of the people who especially have planets around these degrees, and most of you have that strength to launch something that can captivate a large set of people, that can influence a large set of people, that can bring about a social change, that can help force a change to some extent, which can be very material in nature, that can have a very impact, a very long-term impact on community to some extent. So you might be doing something to that effect, and for that you need some boosting. You need your personal foundations need some boosting. We do that ahead of time, and then in July, with the eclipse of 4th or 5th of July, we go ahead and launch it. As I said, Mercury retrograde till 12th of July. My suggestion of any launch dates is after that, but you have to, if you have to do before that, just be careful on the content of it. Know that you'll have to revise things or go over them in detail. And signature of critical investments, large investments, in my view, should only be done in the month of July, after mid of July, in my view. Then you have this eclipse, which is happening on 4th or 5th of July, is happening around 13 degree. So if your planets around 13 degree of Pisces, that is another specific point which is sensitive. So if you're born around 4th of March, that could be a moment to sort of complete something. It's possible that a social network that you've been trying to break through, that happens for you, or a platform launch happens for you, or there could be a friendship that needs to be released, because again that eclipse of 4th or 5th of July is also coming with a release. So something might need to end in the area of your friendship. It's possible that a very long drawn connection with somebody might be coming to a fruition, coming to a completion, and we have to let go. There could be a gains or achievement. This is the eclipse, the 4th or 5th of July eclipse is an eclipse of achievement, rewards, something coming to fruition that you might have worked over the course of last 1.5 years. You might have been working on a platform, and this is for all of you. You might have been working to break through into a business network, to recreate a network, and now it will be sort of coming to a conclusion, but it will come with a release. It's possible that it may come in a format different from what you expected. So for example, if you were forming a platform, forming a network, the actual people in it, or the way you connect with them, or the platform you use, the technology you might use, or the returns from it might be coming in a different way than you expected. The next 6 months, Pisces, Mars, the planet of action, will be in your house of money, financial assets. So 6 months of never before effort in creating certain financial assets for you. That would be another discussion. That will be another video. So look out for that. We have a lot coming, a lot of changes coming. You have all it takes to do it. Just share a little bit of your sensitivity to other people. Share your light with other people. Share your selfless love with other people. There'll be a lot of people who'll crave that in this difficult time. Thank you so much, Pisces, and have a good month ahead.